Okay, welcome back to Brooklyn Bass. Today's December 31st, last day of the year, right? I just thought it would be cool to come fishing on a cold ass day. It is so cold. Apparently it feels like 14 degrees. We're at 69th Street Pier here in Brooklyn, in Bay Ridge. So as you can see, pretty sure you can see the Verrazano Bridge in the background. All right, we got a ferry coming in. All right, this is a pretty notorious place to fish. People have been fishing here for a long time. I remember coming here as a kid. I mean, I'm sorry if you can't hear me because it's insanely windy. But we're gonna try to see if we can catch a fish, right? In this cold ass weather. Should be able to, we'll see.
Oh yeah, no, you know what? No, yeah.
All right, so I wanna touch on the subject, how to fish in New York City. First thing you're gonna do, very first thing you're gonna do, before you get a fishing rod, before you get anything else, you can look it up. I'll put a screenshot of the website that you need to go to get your fishing license. I forgot the name, but it's, has something with the city. There are two types of fishing licenses. I'm pretty sure there's two types of fishing licenses that you can have in New York City. A license for saltwater fishing and then a license for freshwater fishing. So what we mean by saltwater fishing, basically what I'm doing right now. So you can fish anywhere along the Hudson, the East River, down here by the southwest part of Brooklyn, into Jamaica Bay and across. The saltwater one is free. The freshwater one means that you are allowed to fish in places like Prospect Park and Central Park Lake, right? Small rivers for like trout fishing, creeks, all that freshwater fishing. That's what that license is for. For that one, I do believe that you have to pay. I think it's around $25 for the year. Now, there is an option for a lifetime license, to purchase a lifetime license. That for freshwater fishing, that will run you about $200 to $300, I believe. And I'm not sure about the saltwater fishing. I want to say you probably have to pay for that too. But yeah, that's the first thing you're gonna do. And yes, you can fish in Central Park and you can fish in Prospect Park Lake. We're gonna be doing a lot of that on this channel. Prospect Park Lake, on this pier, whenever we get the chance. Down by the Verrazano. In the summer, hopefully we can fish in Jamaica Bay. And then we'll see. We'll eventually venture into upstate, get some trout, do some trout fishing, and we'll see where we end up, man. But that is the first thing you're gonna do, is pick up a fishing license. You can either go online or you can go to your local bait and tackle shop. Majority of the times, they will sell you your license. They'll give you like a little green card, or green or blue, whatever it is. Oh shit. Support your local bait and tackle shop. I've been really big recently on like the physicality of certain things, like going to see a movie, going to a store to pick up whatever you gotta pick up, at a bait and tackle shop instead of just kind of ordering off Amazon and doing things. Because again, like I talked about, going, leaving the house, something that also I'm trying to do. So going to physically get the things that you need is, I think, a very big part of it. And supporting your local bait and tackle shop. You can visit them. They'll give you the things you need. You can pick up the things you need. You can ask them yourselves. I'm a beginner fisherman. What would you recommend on getting for what you absolutely need for fishing? You don't need to go out there and get the best gear. Get the $300 rod, get the $500 reel, get the best lures and baits. You don't need to do that. To get started, you do not need to do that. Even if you're an experienced angler, I guess, if you want to call it that, you do not need to get the fanciest top of the line gear to fish. It might feel nice, you can definitely feel a difference in quality, but you do not need it. Like I said, Ugly Stick is a pretty affordable way to go. When it comes to picking up your first rod, I would recommend the Ugly Stick GX2, just because I know it's reliable and it's going to last you a while. Well, not a while, a very long time. For the reel, I'd say there are reel sizes depending on the brand. Let's just go with the simplest, the one that almost everybody understands. It'll start off at 1,000 size reel. Right, see, like this one is a 4,000 size reel. Most brands will start off at 1,000, which is their smallest. Then it'll kind of go up to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to like 12, 13. But if you're beginning, all you really need to pick up is a happy medium. Would be about a 3,000 size reel if you're coming to saltwater. That'll be just enough, big enough size reel for enough line, right? And enough casting distance. When we're talking about sizes upwards, like 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,000 size reels, those are for what you call surf fishing. Surf fishing is basically you fishing at the beach. Right? If you're at a beach and you're fishing, you are now surf fishing. All you really need to pick up, if you're gonna go saltwater fishing, 7-foot, medium heavy, spinning. Right? And when you pick up a rod and you go see a rod in the store, and any store, bait and tackle, or if you ride up to Bass Pro in Connecticut, the way you read or know the size of the reel is by simply turning the reel down this way, and it should say in letters, depending on the rod that you get, it should say it right here. So 6'6", action, medium heavy. It'll tell you the amount of line that it withstands, so 8 to 20 pound line, and sometimes it'll tell you the action. Damn, I forgot, but that's how you pretty much read it. At some certain stores, like Bass Pro Shop, the rod is on the rack. It'll most likely have plastic over the handle, over the rod, and it'll read the height or the length, and then the action power. And honestly, if you do live in New York City, and because the whole thing is travel, right? So not everybody in New York City has a car. So you gotta take the train or the bus, or you gotta walk it or ride your bike. If that is the case, I would recommend getting a 2-piece rod. Right? A 2-piece rod means that when you get a rod, at least separate it, and this rod tip will come off, and then you'll have 2 pieces. Those are like that just for travel, to make traveling easier. Again, that's not just because you gotta be on a bike or a bus or a train. Sometimes you do have a car and the rod is just too long, so you take it apart and it'll fit in your car. I would recommend that if you're living here in the city and you don't necessarily want to walk around with a 1-piece, 6-foot rod, 7-foot rod, up to 8-foot rod. I would recommend getting a 2-piece. All right, so that's for the rod, the reel, fishing line. What I have here is, I think it's called, I forget, it's Power Pro 30-pound braid, 25-pound mono leader. but I would highly recommend getting braid. Necessarily need to get 30 pound. I'm just doing it because, you know, I'm weird, but 20 pound is fine. And then a 20 pound leader as well. Hooks, I didn't get into that. Hooks, you could go ahead and pick up some circle hooks. I usually just stick to circle hooks. Those are great because they kind of, when the fish is biting or thinking about biting, once it runs away with the bait and the hook, it kind of hooks itself, right? So when we talk about a hook set is when we lift our rod up and we set the hook into the fish's mouth. So the purpose of a circle hook is for it to kind of do it itself when a fish bites and runs away with the hook, so you don't have to yank on the fish. There are sizes like 1/0, 2/0, 3/0. Always remember that smaller hooks can catch any fish, any size fish, big, small, and then the bigger the hook, the more trouble you're gonna have getting smaller fish or any kind of fish, honestly. Or you're only gonna be targeting bigger fish. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. The odds of you getting a big fish are smaller than you getting any fish at all. So I would recommend just sticking to like 1, 2/0 at most, depending on the situation. But for just kind of like pier fishing like this, if you're gonna throw out a high-low, I'd go for 1, 2, possibly smaller or smaller. And yeah, that'll be it. That'll be cover pretty much what you need. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I forgot to mention baits and lures to use when fishing. Here I have 4 that I think would be great for any beginner or experienced angler. We'll start off on number 1. It's what you'd call a Texas rig. It's a EWG hook and a worm, right? So essentially, so what you would do is you would attach a line here, your fishing line, and then this in the water would just freely kind of just move, have its own action. It works. It's great. You can also when it's all tied up, when it's all rigged up, you add a bullet weight to the top just to give that weight to cast and to fall naturally, because a lot of the times fish are biting when your lure drops back down into the water and it's doing its thing. Another way to rig this up would be the wacky worm, right? Essentially the same thing. It's an EWG hook, but this time the worm is hooked through the middle, and it gives it that dead worm kind of action that you have here. My favorite jig head minnow or swim bait. This is a Eagle Claw 1/8 ounce jig head, Crush City Mooch minnow. It mimics what fish eat. Looks great. Yeah, see that fast action in the back. Fish just can't resist it. I love this thing. And 4th is the chatterbait. It's essentially a jig head minnow. You got the weight in the front and in the hook in the back, the skirt, and a blade in the front. Whenever you tie your line to the front here, right, this is dragging, and when it's in the water, the skirt kind of does its thing, makes it look like a fish, like a little swim bait. And then this blade right here is responsible for vibration. And when fish are swimming around, they feel it and they just go crazy. 2 of these I would recommend around this time in the winter when fish are in deeper, chilling at the bottom. That would be this one right here, the swim bait, or the wacky worm, right? Because it just gives it that dead stillness that they love. They're not going to chase anything right now, right? So these 2, you could fish them. You could probably get a few bites, maybe. But I'd definitely recommend 1 and 2. Just because the fish just, again, they aren't moving as much. So they're not going to want to chase anything. Yeah, I think I'm just unlucky with the spot today. You know, they're just not active, man. Just not active at all. No, let's go check though. Yeah, that's kind of how it is, you know. They're not active, they're not active. What you could do when this stuff like this happens, when fish are just not active, even if it's like today. Yeah, if you have the time, then what you could do is just go to a different spot. Like I said, there's down by the Verrazano, or you could go up to the East River. Probably have more luck up there. Fish are probably hanging out over there. Just here is unlucky too. One of my shrimps is gone. One's hanging on for dear life.